Welcome everybody. You've been working all day. Now it's after work. I'm Joe. This is that one show, the informal podcast that's via stream here on Twitch. I posted up on YouTube afterwards, or will be soon. A little bit on that in a second here. We'll just start off going right into some housekeeping notes before we get into like the actual. I didn't have like a lot to talk about, but I think the things that we're going to be talking about today are going to be a lot longer of a format, going like longer discussions but shorter topics on this one. And then we got a little bit of being the elite watch along later on afterwards. So some housekeeping notes that I got here is I got two new YouTube videos up. I will also be posting the first episode we did of that one show, which is just basically the Nintendo Direct. That's kind of like where we'll house some of that stuff, and I'll clip out some of the reactions, you know, if it makes more sense to do that. But that will go up tomorrow morning, so we'll have that. That'll be, I think it's like an hour and a half long or something like that. Like, we paused a lot. I tried to cut out a lot of like the raid video stuff and whatnot to going into it and everything. So forgive me for that. The other one was I do have the Resident Evil trailer from the Direct. We watched a 4K version instead over on freaking what was it on the Resident Evil YouTube channel. But also we did oh goodness gracious, goodness me, what was it? PPP. We did a breakdown. Oh my gosh, why couldn't I think about it? Sorry, I was trying to do two things silently at once and my brain could not. But yeah, we got that went up earlier today. There's been some good discussions there on the channel, on the YouTube side of things as well, going on with that. Some stuff I didn't even I forgot that I had talked about in a previous video that I didn't bring up in there. And then when I was having discussions in the comments with other people in there, I was like, oh shoot, I forgot that I talked about some of this on here and I didn't bring it up. Oh yeah, but yeah, there's there's also music playing underneath if you're not watching if you're for those on YouTube and the recording afterwards, there's no music playing. But yeah, I do have some music going on. I did lower it just a little bit just to make sure, because it's like, I know it's a little bit distracting as well. And Neon, I appreciate the lurkies over here. And Shava, what's going on? Shave, what's going on? I butchered everything tonight. The second thing is Blue Satire's got his Blue A Academy going on right now this week for Indie Appreciation Week. So let's flip that over here. Oh, that's not even the right thing. Hold on. That's just Discord. There's nothing crazy. Where is booty? Dun, 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 dun. Where is the, no, it's not window capture, motion capture. There we go. New monitor. And it will be, that one is what we're looking for. Yeah, there we go. We fixed it. Also, Papi Chulo, thank you for the Subarino for 3 months. Enjoy your emotes, and most importantly, enjoy a little bit of bubbly out here. Can we get some hearts in the chat for Papi? I hope you're doing well, dog. What I was trying to say was, Blue is hosting his Indie Appreciation Week. I will be doing the Friday part of this at 7 o'clock with Chronos. We're gonna continue that as well. So this week we'll see some variety for sure, and you can see a bunch of people if you go over to Blue Satire's Twitter page, or if you go to his channel. I think he's live right now playing with Anka. I think they're doing Borderlands. So if y'all have been curious about that game and wanted to actually see some gameplay of Borderlands 4, which just dropped over the weekend, that's there as well. If you see my name, it was AI. That's insane. What do you mean it was AI? It's right there. Thank God for streamer mode, so that way it blocked most of, you know what? It didn't even block Hunter's name. Why did it block Wiccan's name but not Hunter's name? That's so goofy. Usernames have been truncated. It did nothing to truncate Hunter's name. That's crazy. So yeah, that's a bit of housekeeping. And as we always try to start off the shows, let me no, why is it a ad on, you know what? It's because I pulled it up on IGN and I know better. Let me just go to let me just go to YouTube where I have my premium account and we will watch the trailer there for Persona 3 Reload, which I actually didn't see the trailer for. So let's check that out. Let's do the damn thing. Persona 3 Reload coming to the Nintendo Switch. Unfortunately, as a game key. So do with that info what you will. And here we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's loud. Persona! They ruined my Persona streak, man. I own every Persona game on the Switch. There's a free demo now. Dude, I love this song. Lacey Johnson does a great rendition of this song. I'm gonna let them sing it. Oh man. Play the demo now. Take on the battle. Save the world. I'm not gonna hold you. Why would it block me? Oh no, because it should truncate the usernames if I'm in streamer mode. Damn, October 23rd. Why is everything coming out? Dude, everything's coming out right around the same time. This is crazy. Every JRPG is fighting for every JRPG. What the hell? That's a week before Dragon Quest. That's a week after Pokemon. That's 2 weeks after Digimon. Dude, that's 3 weeks after Final Fantasy. Do you understand that, like, the lineup of JRPGs alone, not counting any other video game that is dropping within the next 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks at that, right? Is pretty much like it's banger after banger, basically. If you're a Final Fantasy head, you got Final Fantasy Tactics coming up at the end of this month. Next month, if you're a Digimon fan, Digimon Time Stranger is coming out. For all the Pokemon fans, Pokemon ZA. For all the freaking Persona heads, Persona 3 again, because I know there's people that are going to end up buying that game. And then Dragon Quest to cap it off is nuts. And then right after that, Hyrule Warriors. I don't count it, but, like, you know, it's action RPG enough. There's some leveling aspects to it, right? There's equipment involved in there, so we'll throw that in there. Is nuts. I wasn't gonna buy a Switch 2, and now my wallet is boned. Jackie, please, no. We are all screwed out here. Like, oh, man. And it's like my Switch is my Nintendo and JRPG console mostly. Like, I have a plethora of games on my Switch library alone, but it is very much like any portable I end up getting is always like any JRPG I can get is usually generally on there. But I've also had this thing where I jokingly bought jokes on me, right? I bought every single Persona game that was available physical for the Switch just to annoy Wiccan. Because I've not played a Persona game is the running joke. And I was like, yeah, I got them all. Oh crap, Persona 3 Reload is probably going to drop at some point. I do have the original Persona 3. Do I annoy everybody and let Persona 3 Fez be my first Persona? Y'all, please go show Jackie B some love out here. Oh my god, what is going on, homie? If you grew up in the 90s, you're eating good AF, dude, for real. Like, it's kind of crazy. No, why you do that? Cause we all homies out here. Come on now. The Persona God heard me. Dude, wait, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Because I only see 5 and 4 right here. It's got to be sitting around somewhere. Uh, yep. Oh yeah, right in front of my face. There we go. That was easy. There we go. Persona 3 Portable. Just to annoy Wiccan. And dude, it came with a flip joint. It came with an instruction book. Like, this was a limited run uh freaking push for the physical, right? So it's like all 3 and 4 have like stuff in there. I don't know if 5 had anything in there, but 3 and 4 were done through a limited run to get the physical prints out. Yeah, see the difference? Look at that. No love, no love. But then you look at Persona 4 Golden and it's like like, come on, man. They cooked on this one. They cooked on that one. Like, what are we doing here? Honestly, Danganronpa sent me. Okay, so question: is that both a a new a remake and a new game with like additional stuff? Because I I was like, wait a minute, isn't there a third game already? Like, I thought that game was like a whole trilogy, and like I hadn't seen another one since. And then the guy like went and made a different game afterwards. Jawan, what's going on? That one streak after work? You damn right. Persona 3 Fez is the one who that got me into the series. That's the one on. So I know there's like a million jillion different versions of like all of these games, right? Fez was a PS2 one, or is that the PSP one? Because I know there's portable, but then they do like two of those, or like it brought another one. This whole series confuses my soul. So I don't know if it's a remake or an adaptation, but I'm hoping remake, because like I heard briefly something on the direct about them adding a story, but I don't know if that's like from you know how it is, how they say that, and it's like they pulled in because there was like a definitive edition from another thing, and here, and we're just bringing it over now, or something like that. I was like, I'm so confused because like I personally have never played the Danganronpa games, but I've seen the anime a bit, and I've seen someone play this. I want to say someone played that one. That's the one that were on the island, right? If that's the one that were on the island, I definitely watched somebody play the entire game, and I was highly entertained. I couldn't tell you what happened, but I was highly entertained by all the voice acting that was happening there. Oh man, pray harder. We need a 1 and 2 re-release. Is there a reason 1 and 2 are just like not like are like the redheaded stepchild of the series? Because you see all this love for 3, 4, and 5, and I never hear anything of 1 and 2. Like, I know they're PlayStation 1 titles, but that's all I know about them. PS2 Persona 3 Fez in Discord Gaming. Wiccan, you booting up? You booting up, Wiccan? Oh my god. All right, moving on from the game trailers. That was the only one that I really truly wanted to watch as far as game trailers go. But moving into the news section, this comes that question that I asked y'all earlier today. So if y'all recall, I was just asking about what is it going to take for someone to push the envelope on getting a game key Nintendo Switch 2 key card game, as opposed to one that has the entire game on it. And check this out. Final Fantasy Remake Nintendo Switch 2. It is a game key. However, there's some things included in it that kind of fulfill it a little bit more and make it seem like, okay, you're getting more than just, and not to attack my persona heads, you're not just like it's you're not just getting a piece of paper and a cartridge in there. Right? Okay. Ugh. But they do seem to have put Square this time around, and seem to have put a little bit more thought into it, right? So, one, that price point, I will say, I am shocked in a good way. I am shocked that this game is coming out for $39.99. This is the Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, so it has all the DLC and everything like that, which was the Yuffie story extension, right? To carry on into Rebirth. But what it does come with, and what I thought was neat, was hey, they put a little booster pack inside for cards. I thought that was cute. We already know it has DLC included. And because the number one, I will say, applause, applause, because y'all know how ugly these game covers have been because of all the legal font. I don't know what the particular reason is. There has to be some legal reason as to why all of this text takes over the front cover. This is the first time any game I can recall, other than like when, like, back in the day it had like the PlayStation or the Super NES bar on the bottom was right there, right? Like at most, but they added a reversible cover. Thank you. It's the little things. It's the little things. They do add in-game content, which is nice. So you get the carbuncle. Basically, if I'm not mistaken, this was some of this at least was pre-ordered DLC that you can get before the game's launch, if I'm not mistaken, when Remake originally came out. Because I remember Carbuncle at least being one of the pre-ordered summon materia that you can get when you pre-ordered Final Fantasy Remake back on the PlayStation 4. I'm still looking at you, Square. I haven't forgotten. I haven't forgotten. All right. I remember when you said Trilogy was going to be on both PS4 and PS5. I remember that. I remember that. I'm not forgetting. I'm not forgetting.
Get yourself a new life.
Dick.
Never forget, y'all. My heart still breaks. Still waiting for that PS4 rebirth. So yeah, I didn't notice the in-game bonus content, but yeah, at least they went a little extra. I will say, I do wish that they at least included a little booklet inside, nothing too crazy, but this is a step at least. And I will say I am very happy that they, considering this game came out in 2020, 6-year-old game. Well, by the time this had come out, 6-year-old game, $39.99. They added some stuff to kind of put some more thought into it. Would something like this in future? Oh, and on top of it, this also exceeds the 64 gigabyte Nintendo Switch card by a limit by 30 gigs. I think it's a 90 gigabyte file game size. So they couldn't fit this on a physical cartridge even if they tried. You can't condense that any more than I'm sure they've tried to get this game to work on a Nintendo Switch too, right? Which, when you think about it, it's like Remake makes sense in the sense of Switch 2 is kind of like that in between of the PS4 and PS5, right? It's like a pro almost of the PS4. So this game, getting it to work shouldn't have been like Rebirth is the one that's going to be interesting to me and seeing how that runs because they claimed that they couldn't get that running on a PS4. The Switch 2 is technically less powerful than a PS4, a PS5. So, what kind of workarounds are going to do to get this? Or is this like a custom engine that they can get this game to run and whatnot? Probably, maybe, who knows? But going back to the main question, $40, they added in some stuff to kind of make it a little bit worthwhile, right? Are things like this alternate ways to get people or to get y'all to, and myself included for that matter, to pick up a Switch cartridge that happens to be a game key. So game keys, for those who don't know, they're basically just a permission slip that says, "Hey, you can play this game," because it's just pinging your Switch to unlock the game that you're trying to play digitally is the best way I can explain it. Um they'll just shadow drop them. Hold on, let me scroll back up over here. Bum, 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 bum. I'll get a physical game key only if part of something I'm collecting. They got a few additional elements and there's no other platform physical available. Okay. So you're saying, all right, like as far as like completing your collection. So, like for instance, going back to the Persona 3 conversation from earlier, you're thinking, you know what? I want to complete my collection. Let me get this. Let me get this game right, and then boom, you're kind of going at it from that angle. And there's no other platform physical available. So, question for you then, going back to that same thing, because you already have Persona 3 Reload on uh PS5, right? Would you end up still trying to pick up PS3 Persona Reload on the Switch for from a collector's perspective, or because you have it already, you're good and you're set in that regard? If not, I'll just save it on the console, and the same console will end up as part of the collection. Example, P5 Mobile is on an old phone in my collection. There was a Persona 5 mobile game. I I'm learning something new every day. Jesus Christ. Uh Now, if all Switch 2 games had reversible covers, girl, that part, because Watcher, I'd be, I'd second thought it too. I thought about it for a moment. I'm like, I got 3 months to decide if this is gonna be my first game key card. Because I'm like, the price is entertaining. It's definitely entertaining, and I know this is like the what's the word? The anomaly in the grand scheme of everything that's going on here with pricing for the Switch 2 and how third party developers are treating game keys, right? I see this from like, yes, it's a new game, and honestly, I could have seen them charging us the full 70 for this, but I am very happy that Square at least thought about like the price structure over everything else that's going on over here, because that alone had me do a little head tilt, and like I very much was like, maybe I bite, maybe. Cause y'all already know I have been very gung ho anti just being me personally not getting any of these game keys. But when you see some effort putting into it and some care, I'm like, okay, they thought about this a little bit, you know? So now I'm like, I'm 50-50 right now, but I am leaning towards like, huh. I might do it. I don't know. We'll find out in January. Um, P5 Phantom X. You know what I did know about Phantom X? I keep forgetting about that. That's on PC also, though, right? Or not? I'm good. I'll search for the figurine separately. Wait, there's a figurine that's coming out with the P3 Reload? Vanilla wafers and cream cheese icing. Ooh, okay. That sounds good. Hold on. Celestian's onto something. All right, so moving on from the Final Fantasy remake physical talk, it's a good, interesting conversation to really have over here. Hey, who's doing
This
resubs
sub
out
is
here?
brought to
How
you by
dare
our
y'all?
sponsor, Meat.
Meat, y'all sponsor? We're sponsored by Meat. Hold on, can I have some? Cause I'm hungry. Tiki Joe, thank you for the 59 month resubmarino. Sorry, correct myself. Enjoy your emails, and most importantly, enjoy all of the dang bubbly out here. Can we get some hearts in chat for Tiki Joe out here? The last thing I wanted to look at as far as like gaming news goes was Borderlands dropped. I'm curious to see how who all picked it up and who all actually has been enjoying their experience with it. I know there's been some PC issues, but I hadn't actually like taken a look at like any reviews for the game per se. So let me see if I can pull up at least a video review. We're going back to YouTube real quick before a Borderlands foe. Boom. I love that my feed is just like mostly Resident Evil going on over here every now and again. We played it. That was 4 months ago. NVIDIA optimize. Oh no. Okay, yeah. Poor PC players, man. That's like the bane of being a PC player. You're sometimes with you know, you just gotta go with the bumps, you know. All right, here we go. So this was 4 days ago.
To have clap.
Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Let's mute that. Let's get. Oh, I already started. 22 minutes. Okay, we're not gonna watch all 22 minutes. We still got
My
a
passion
game to
for
play
looter
tonight.
shooters has burned quite brightly.
I blew the
for
budget,
over
picked up
15
Borderlands 4
years,
on the first
and
boss.
Borderlands is
Diamond
the
Eyes.
flame
I
that
take
lit
it
the
you're
fuse.
enjoying it then, huh?
With Borderlands 4, Gearbox
Oh
proves
man,
it still
y'all also
knows
go
how
to
to bring
Tiki Joe
boom.
some damn love. Tiki
After
Joe, what's going
fizzling
on, dog?
somewhat
How
with
you been?
Borderlands 3, it felt like this series had begun to fall behind in the genre it pioneered. But breaking away from segmented levels and embracing an honest-to-goodness open
I
world
do love that they still
allows
kept with the
2025's
Borderlands aesthetic
Borderlands
of like
to
the.
surprise us again.
I don't even know what to
Drastically
call this
improved
art
movement
style, but like
makes it one of the
it's
best feeling first-person
semi
shooters
cell
out there.
shaded,
The
kind of
story
sort
takes a
of.
refreshingly grounded approach that pays off.
Planet Kairos. Heard of it?
Oh, the boom, dude.
And the expanded
Marcus.
build crafting options like healing
I was like, I
items,
know that voice.
throwing knives, and weapon
I've only fully
enhancements
played the
are
first
all
one and
fantastic
half of the
ideas.
second one.
But taking these
But I have an
swings
appreciation for
also
the series,
comes with
at
some
least.
unfortunate downsides, like how exploration is quite literally held back by
You were
invisible
supposed to be
walls
the
and
disciplined
awkward
one.
surfaces that
Were-
refuse to be
Wait,
trod
Celestian,
upon.
were you around
Not
when
to
like
mention
Diamond Eyes
fairly
went gun
rocky
ho on
technical
like all the
performance
Steam
on
sales?
the PC version provided for review, and numerous bugs.
Oh,
Shooting my ride!
not the
But those
stutters.
rough
I guess
borders
that's the
did little to
NVIDIA
keep
stuff
me
that
from
they were
once
talking
again
about.
falling head over heels for my first looter shooter love, and blasting through hordes of psychos with a
I mean, as
friend
long
or
as it's not
three
happening all the
feels as
time, you know?
awesome as it ever has.
All right, let's skip around here.
But number 4 makes a number of pretty huge changes that shake up your vault hunting expedition. The biggest by far is the fact that Borderlands 4 is a proper open world game that's filled with side quests, timed activities, collectibles,
I will.
and puzzles
You know
to
what?
seek
Question
out.
for you,
You
Diamond
also have a
Eyes.
whole bag
From
of
like
tricks to aid you
you
in the
just getting to
exploration
the
of
first
Kairos'
boss.
4 diverse regions.
Do you got?
Like
are
a
you
grapple
already
hook that
riddled
lets
with
you
like
get
a
to
bunch of?
areas
Oh, that was a
normally
cool
out of
grappling hook
reach,
thing.
a glider to
Are
soar
you riddled
over
with like a
large
bunch
swaths
of
land,
side quests
and a
in
vehicle you
between,
can summon
right
on
off right off
command
the
to
bat?
zip over hills and through
Not that
deserts
it was a bad
without having to
thing,
hoof it
but
to a
it was one of
catch-a-ride
those things
station
where it's
first.
like I appreciated
That might
how
not
much
seem like a big deal at
Borderlands
first, but it's hard
threw
to
in
overstate
side
how
quests
different this
left
makes
and right,
Borderlands 4
but a lot of
from its
them started to
predecessors.
feel
Not
monotonous
just
and the
because you've got
same.
so
Like
many new ways
as
to
I
get
got
around, but
like
because progressing through the story
deeper
and
into
leveling up
those
your character
games.
is so much less linear now. Sometimes I'd spend a few hours
Well,
just
yeah, they're
exploring
saving up
a
for
region of
3
the map,
games.
clearing the fog of war, and,
And
completing any
occasionally breaking
activities
the
I
budget.
encountered
You
along
know
the
what?
way,
Hey,
while other
sometimes
times
it
I'd race
happens,
from
man.
place to
Something
place,
comes out and you
focusing
get
on one
FOMO
part
because
of
you
the
see
main
everybody
story
build.
quest
It's
line
also like
before
the
pivoting to another
multiplayer
part
game
of
to
it
be
in a
playing too.
different
Like
region.
Borderlands,
That story
this
took me
is a
about
series
40
that
hours to
thrives
complete.
on like
But
looter
that was
shooter
with plenty of distractions, and I've
multiplayer
spent another 20 plus after
gaming
the
experience,
credits
and it
roll,
also has
with
like
lots still left to
a
do.
kooky story, like serious at times ish.
There is one major issue
I like the
with this
fact
new
that it
open
has
world
3
philosophy
billion
that
weapon
grinds
combos.
my
Like, bro,
gears.
like what? It's like
just
so
that the
goofy.
physical terrain of Kairos doesn't
Oh
always
man! Also,
rise
let
to
me
the
move
occasion
my
of these free roaming
camera back.
ambitions.
This was from last
For
week
example,
when I was also
some areas are filled with
having it
invisible
on
walls
a
that
having
you'll
all this on a different
unsatisfyingly
monitor. There we
slap
go. It
into
looks
while
weird
you're
that I'm
trying
just
to
like
glide
looking
over a
off
hill
to the
or
dang
mantle
thing.
up a ledge.
Excuse me,
Borderlands has
Dimitri. What's
always
going
had
on?
issues with its environments
We're just
being a
peeping
bit
some Borderlands. I don't say
There are
Borderlands.
little
Y'all into
mechanical spiders that
Borderlands?
reflect all
Borderlands
bullets you send their way
gameplay.
when they
Just
spin
checking
their
out
legs
this review
rapidly.
real quick. I
Creatures
mean, for the
covered
most
in
part, it
crystals
seems
that are
like people
immune to
have been
damage
happy
until you
that
shoot those
I know
crystals off
personally
and
that picked
quickly
it up.
destroy the floating orbs they turn into.
I'm
and
curious
many
if
others
it
that I hadn't
like it
seen
looks
before.
like more
Those caused me to stop and
Borderlands
adapt to their
with
tactics in
like,
interesting
it
ways.
looks like the
And
Borderlands
was
that I
always
remember
a
from
memorable
1 and
moment.
2.
Even better are the boss
Which isn't a
fights,
bad
which have
thing. I'm just
evolved
like,
pretty
okay, I
significantly
don't
in that
feel
they
like
usually
I'd be
involve
missing out
some
on too
special
much
mechanics you
if
have
I
to
don't
learn
pick it up
in
on
order
the
to beat
sale.
them. These are
That
often
was kinda
pretty
wild.
simple things, like picking up and throwing a toxic
And
bomb
just
onto
transmuted
one boss
his
to
arm
clear his
into
armor
a
off,
like he's
or
Edward
having to
Elric
juggle
out here.
yourself in the air with grappling and gliding after the floor becomes hazardous for
Oh,
a phase
man.
of another fight.
It's got more polished
Granted, they
graphics.
don't come
Gotcha,
close to the
gotcha. Some
mechanical
more Borderlands
complexity
pretty
of
looking.
something you'd find in a Destiny
I F
raid,
with it.
but those
I
are
F with
often
it.
kind
Sometimes
of over the top.
if it ain't
and
broke,
this is
don't
a
fix it.
significant step up from some of the basic dodge and shoot until it
Do they
dies
have a
battles we've
Lilith
seen
like
in
character
Borderlands
in this game?
past. It's a happy
Lilith was my
medium,
girl. That's
and that
my
makes
that's
these
like
bosses
the
a lot
only
less
character
forgettable.
that I ever truly
That's not
effed
to
with.
say there aren't any basic fights, but it's fair to say that those can be an entertaining excuse to turn off your
No
brain
saving
and
up.
blast something to bits and serve as a contrast to the ones
Oh,
with an extra
man.
element to them.
Yeah. I mean,
Rest
y'all know
assured,
me.
the major bosses
shit.
usually
It-
step up their game pretty noticeably.
visual
It's
aesthetics
also neat that you'll
aside,
start
like when
encountering
games look
enemies
pretty, I'm
with
like,
various
yeah, no, yeah,
modifiers
they
as you
look
get
great
further
and I
into
can
the
appreciate it,
adventure,
but they're
and
not the end all
unlock
be
higher
all for me.
difficulties via the
I
in-game
am
grind. These might be things
I'm the
like
I am
elemental
the
eater,
furthest
an
away
effect
from
that means
graphics.
enemies
It's
aren't just
gameplay and story
resistant to
for
a
me.
specific type of attack,
And then like
but
if a
healed
game
by
looks
it.
visually
Or
stunning on top of
Centrifugal,
that,
which causes
then I'm
a
like,
black
all right,
hole
that's
to form
extra
where an
cake.
enemy with this
But
trait dies,
I think
pulling
the only
everything in range into
series
its center and dealing
I've ever
massive
been
damage.
like truly
It's not all
like
new groundbreaking
yeah,
stuff
no,
for
this is
Borderlands.
just like the
These are similar to
freaking
effects found in Borderlands 3's
this game looks
Mayhem mode,
incredible.
for
Has been like
instance,
the
but they're
later
now a
end of the
central
Resident
part of
Evil
Borderlands
games. Like
4, and that
I didn't
makes
start
combat
noticing
more
that
interesting
until
and
like
has you staying a
7.
little bit more aware.
7
even
and
with
8
enemies
look
you've seen
great.
a lot of
9
already.
looks freaking like the amount of work that they put into that third person part for 9. I'm
If
like
the fact that I've gone this
blown
long
away
without even
at
getting
that.
to discussing
Kokomo,
the
what's going on,
entirely new
homie?
batch of Vault Hunters in Borderlands 4 doesn't tell you there's a lot going on
Game
here.
does look pretty.
I don't know what
These
will.
cutscenes look great.
It mostly sticks to tradition, but puts some pretty neat spins on the series' existing classes. There's
That's
the Siren
dope.
Vex, who uses her space magic to deal
Oh,
elemental
is this our
damage.
Siren?
and
Okay,
has
that would
some
be my
awesome
girl then.
life-stealing options. Rafa, the Exo Soldier, who can summon all sorts of digistructed
Nah.
weapons, from shoulder-mounted
That's my girl
turrets
right there,
to
then.
melee
That's it,
arm
we're
blades,
besties.
As though
Liz,
Borderlands
what's
didn't
going
have
on,
enough
homie?
weapons already.
We're just looking at some
Harlow,
Borderlands.
a Gravatar with an assortment of gravity
Gravatar.
manipulation
It's like
abilities
Avatar, but
that can
gravity.
trap enemies in bubbles, among other things. And
That's gotta be
Amon,
trippy.
a massive cybernetically enhanced warrior called a Forge Knight, who has a bunch of melee options at his disposal.
Oh, he's
Each
big
one
unga
feels
bunga
pretty
smash.
good, with unique tools that make
Bro,
them all
look at
viable
her. She's
choices for
dope.
endgame activities
Nah,
without
she's got
feeling
shadows
especially
behind her.
overpowered. While I've been pretty high on it so far,
Yeah,
I do
no,
have
that's
some
kinda dope.
complaints to lodge as someone who tends to play this kind
Aesthetically, she looks
with
so
view-
cool.
into the elemental
on.
DPS tree.
Is that
that
who they've
focused
been
on
playing
casting
as
powerful
this entire
spells
time?
instead of summoning others
It looks
to do
like
my
it,
bidding.
yeah.
If those two different characters worked together side by side, there'd be little overlap. in
That
what
is
they're bringing to an up to
crazy.
4-person team.
Leash. What is going on? Wrathaway, welcome on in. Hold on, we got homies pulling on up to the crib. Hold on. Minimize. Kai, what's going on? Leash, what's going on? Wrathaway, what's going on? Unleash the leash. Leashington, McExington, because I don't have another name to go with your last part, so I took the X and made it a last name there. I hope you like it. Um, Leash, what's going on, homie? How you doing? Welcome, Raiders. Tinker Layla, what's going on? Welcome on in, everybody. I'm Joe. I'm a variety streamer. I play a lot of retro Nintendo JRPGs and survival horror. At the beginning of the streams, we're starting up a new thing where if I have gaming topics to go through or any nerdy shit that I want to go through, we call it That One Show. We make a little mini series out of it, and I upload these onto YouTube afterwards. So you're in the middle of all that madness over here. We're just checking out Borderlands. We were looking at we were talking about the pricing structure of the Switch game key for Final Fantasy VII, and I asked everybody, and I'll ask it for everybody coming in right now. If you had a Switch 2, or if you do have a Switch 2 and you haven't purchased a game key, what would it take for you to purchase a game that is a game key? And what that is basically it's just an empty cartridge that allows you to play the digital game that is downloaded onto your Switch, but it's, you know, you buying a physical game, it just doesn't have a game on it. Final Fantasy VII Remake drops next year in January, and what Square did was a few different things. First off, the game's $40. It has the intermission DLC. It has all the pre-order bonus stuff from Remake. From what I noticed, I was like, I think this is mostly pre-order bonus from the deluxe edition of that game when it came out on the PS4 back in the day. And they added a Magic trading card booster pack inside the cartridge, inside the game, or inside the casing, I should say. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of like, I'm kind of like they're putting in an effort. Oh, and a reversible case art cover, so that way you can get rid of all the ugly ass text that shows up on the Switch too. So like they gave me a few different things to work with out here. But yeah, I'm curious to what everybody's thoughts are on that one, because that was kind of like my main topic of that one for the evening before we get into mostly Nintendo stuff towards the end of it, and we do have one wrestling thing as well. Pre-orders come with a free Joe and Maid. Wait, hold on. Now, what is this madness out here that y'all are talking about over here? I buy digital games mostly now, so I don't know if it bothered me anyway. That's fair, and I know that it's like one of those things. I know a couple of people that don't mind it and jump into the game key thing, and then there's a couple of YouTubers that have bought a few game keys, but they're also the same people that have been heavily complaining about it. They've been the loudest about it the most and running it down, and then I'm like, wait, didn't you just like run everybody into lambast everybody for buying a game key, and you have 3 games over there as a game key? What we doing? So yeah, it's been an interesting one. I've been trying to not cave, and it's like that one is the one that's getting me to be like, do I do it? Do I not? I've got a few months to think it over, so I'm like, and it's not even like I buy digital games, and I have nothing against digital games. It's the whole thing of like, there's no game on the game key. I will say we talked about the Ubisoft stuff and like how like the reason they made theirs a game key was because they can't get the cartridge to load in textures for the game fast enough for it to work, but it works fine digitally. So that's why they opted with the game key. And I'm like, okay, y'all gave an explanation at least. I get that this is more meant for anti-piracy, but when you implement other elements like that into the equation and you explain it to us, it makes me understand it a little bit more than just the anti-piracy thing. Because we've talked about the MIG switch on here and like how it seems like it was meant to combat at least that and several other piracy related things that the Switch 1 encountered. So there's that. Not a lot recently, not a lot recently, because broke, but I'd honestly get new. Oh, this is in relation to, I'm like, in relation to the games. Gotcha. We also have an ad break coming up in a minute, but hold on, I'm gonna try to get to everything over here. Pre-orders, Senran. No, I was trying to read the Senran Kagura thing you mentioned earlier. I was like, wait, what? Senran Kagura, the Joe edit would get me on the game key. Listen, I'll get some. I'll get one of those like fake tops that you can order off like Amazon or whatever, and just like I put it on the Busty Joe edition. You know, for leash, I'd do it. We chillin' playing some Ratchet and Clank 2016, dude. I love that. That's the only Ratchet and Clank game I've ever played, but I loved that one. It was so fun. I blew the budget, so I'm not getting any more for a while. Diamond Eye said, hold on, Borderlands 4 got me. Oh my gosh. Please, I have a couple I need to get because stream stuff, but I totally get it. Fair and valid right there. Also, can we get a shout out for the homie Kokobo as well? Kokobo back on the streaming game, been doing Silent Hill 2 with their mom out here. Oh, Jax, what's going on, homie? Learning, I like this. Ooh. Listen, it's growth, you know. Oh man, Dive and I were yapping about games. No, I caught that and I was like, hold on, let me try to get back on track. That's on me. You guys are fine. Y'all yap away. I'd be stressing about blowing the budget too. Listen, I mean, it happens from time to time. As long as you know you're being responsible at the end of the day with everything else IRL related, who's to say what you can and can't do with your money, you know? You're enjoying yourself sometimes, you know? You gotta take care of that. As long as it's not every single time, you know, you're good, you know? A budget is a suggestion on how much you should be spending, right? At the end of the day, and if you go a little bit over and you're not breaking the bank or being irresponsible towards any of your other adult duties, then you know who's to say that you're not, you know, you're not allowed to. You should hope Schmidt didn't hear that now, because she'd expect that outfit. That's crazy. That's wild out here, Leashington. Yep. Also, my thinking process, I was about to get FF Tactics digital until I learned it was physical on Switch 1. I hope I didn't misread that though. Yes, it is digital on Switch 1, but I'm also curious if maybe I missed something with the Switch 2 and them adding some stuff, because there's like an Amazon. I pre-ordered the Amazon one because I was like, oh, let me get the poster or whatever, or I think I did. Let me not F that up. Did I pre-order? Maybe I was just looking at it and I linked y'all. Let me check real quick. Not yet shipped, right? I did pre-order. Oh, thank God. I was like, so yeah, there's a Nintendo Switch 1 Nintendo Switch version. Oh yeah, no, yeah. See, it's only for Switch 1 there, that one. But let me just see Final Fantasy Tactics real quick and see if there's anything extra on it. Oh, they don't even have it on Amazon whatsoever. Wow. That's nuts. Okay. Excuse me. I'm wondering if Square Enix is doing anything directly on their store with it. Also, Leash, y'all, please go show Leash some damn love. Leash, thank you for the damn raid. Also, if you got to do any of that post-stream care, please do it up, all right? Self-care is best care out here. I know we had gotten right back into the swing of things. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I'm just looking up this one thing Final Fantasy-wise, right? Final Fantasy Tactics. Evil East Chronicles. Pre-order. Hey, get your microwave done. Get your microwave done. Devils, get your microwave done. Put it away. Here we go. We got all day. No, just me? Alright, bet. That's on me. Deluxe edition. No, I don't want to visit the store. I'm just trying to see if there is. There we go. There is a collector's edition. Oh, wow. So this actually poses up my question from earlier on top of this, is there a Nintendo Switch 2? Because Nintendo Switch 2 is a game key card. That much we know. I was just curious if they were doing anything else that would loop in the Nintendo Switch version. See, this doesn't give me enough information. This just says. But check it real quick before we get back into we do the raid video and the checking of the Borderlands real quick. They have this collector's box which should have the game essentially. I don't know though if this was also available for the Switch 2. I don't know. If anybody knows, definitely let me know. But that was interesting that was even a thing. I didn't even know that existed until just now. Chortle, y'all are chortling out here? I hold on, let me scroll down here. Oh yeah. I just think when I've been reflecting that perhaps I'm just outgrowing Nintendo these games, still got that love and nostalgia for them, but the price points these days, I don't think I'd get my money's worth, so I'm holding off on this gen for now. Things should change further down the line when the Switch 1 is considered completely dead. But that's the thing, Switch 1 isn't dead. There's games that are coming out for both. On top of that, it's just that all the games that are also coming out for both are also coming out on other platforms as well. So it's just a matter of preference and where you want to play at that point. It's gotten to the point the last like 2 generations where you're seeing third parties realize, yeah, we're not in the land of exclusives anymore at this point, unless it extremely benefits us that we've seen sales spike only for this one particular console. We're going to work with them here, right? And we're in this point now that like it really is like, okay, pick a platform. You can almost crossplay just about anything now at this point. And now that Switch 2 is a lot more beefier and powerful, it seems like it's going to be able to handle crossplay a little bit better with the other platforms, because Daemon X Machina, that's crossplay with other areas. I wonder, big wonder, if we get Monster Hunter Wilds and not a dedicated Monster Hunter game this time around, because if that is the case, that could change it up for a lot of people in terms of like Monster Hunter on the Switch and being able to play with everybody else on a PS5, on Xbox, on Steam, on PC. That would be huge. You booting up Silent Hill? Oh yeah, no, yeah, I'm there day one. I'm not sleeping. That is going to be a long weekend for me, because I'm also going to a Ren Fair that Sunday that weekend. So like, I gotta lock in. I gotta lock in heavy on that game. Bumpy, what's going on? Welcome back, everybody, from ads. I believe, by the way, I think everyone is back now. If Nintendo kept their prices low, they would by far dominate the entire market, and it wouldn't even be close. So here's the thing: their games are still selling well. Their first party games are still selling, and their first party games are still on the cartridge is the other thing on top of that, right? Game Key is just an option for third parties. I don't think we see a game that is on a game key from Nintendo directly, unless it's like, and even then I think it becomes the case of like they'll probably make a higher sized cartridge at that point to fulfill their needs. But a lot of their games are below 30 gigabytes. I don't think there is one that is above that or exceeds anywhere remotely close. There's some that have been like 20, 25 in the Switch 1 era, but I don't think there hasn't been anything else that rivals that. Could be wrong. Someone I'm sure will be able to find that if that's the case. Um, but yeah, I got blessed with a lot of raid love, so I'm real happy to send over to you. Leash, I appreciate you, dog. We out here. We're trying. We're trying. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Bro, who the fuck doing laundry in here? Uh-oh. Why you cleaning up clothes out here? My Andrea, what's going on? Sorry, I'm like catching up slowly from chat because I'm making sure that I'm sticking to like the beat points for the conversation that we're having. But then I'm gonna get back to y'all. I'm gonna get back to y'all. But yes, as far as the way the Switch pricing goes, or Switch 2 pricing for that matter, I should say, the only $80 game is Mario Kart World. Everything else has been 70 or below. That is also another thing that we'll get into later on that I have. So, Devils, I'm glad you brought that up because it does. It's in relation to Galaxy. We'll get to that after the raid video, actually, because then we'll jump into, because I think Borderlands, we got the point. It looks neat. It looks like more Borderlands. It looks like more fun. Wait, they did a collector's edition for Tactics. I'm sad now. Yeah, it looked like it was $200 on the Square site. That's the thing also, like Square mostly does their own collector's editions on their website. So they don't partner with anyone else. It's just their own thing on their website, and it's like they boot up on there for the most part. Bumpy, what's going on? Dang, Slumber Party, y'all got the 10 stream streak out here. Listen, I got the couch right there, dude. Square, please put collector's editions back for pre-order at other places. They've been doing that for a long time now. They even did that I feel like it was in the PS4 era that they were really going in on just like doing collector's editions on their website and then doing like deluxe edition stuff on other areas. Like I feel like Octopath Traveler was the last like collector's edition that I bought from like a Best Buy rather than, you know, having to go through them directly. Is one of those it was one of those things. Dude, even the freaking when the Pixel remaster collection came out the first time, it came out at like some ungodly hour of the night. I was already asleep, but by the time I woke up, it was already sold out. And it was only 11 a.m. It was a Sunday. I remember this. It was like Saturday going into a Sunday, and I think it's because it was Monday in Japan and it had gone up for pre-order. And by the time I found out about it, the ship was sold out. And I was like, oh, well, F me. Thankfully, they restocked, and then they restocked in stores. So, like, there's a happy ending at least. But, like, oh my God, that I was ready to fight somebody for that one because I really wanted that. Oh man, because I'm curious as to why Nintendo wants both devices out together. It's always been a Nintendo thing. They've always been a like there was no doubt that they weren't going to continue having support for their older consoles, but their games are going to be Switch 2 mostly. They do have right now we're in this weird period where year one is going to see a lot of like, and you all already saw with that last direct, a lot of updated versions of their games. But I will say it's more than just an update. They are adding, like they're lumping it in with their DLC essentially, right? It's like, hey, this is going to be Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive stuff that if you upgrade this game, you're gonna get X, Y, and Z with your Switch 2. Which I'm half and half on in terms of the content involved, but there is some games that like their DLC is, you know, in correlation with like, oh, okay, it's using Switch 2 accessories. I get that. Okay. But like Jamboree, for instance, is using the camera and stuff like that. I think Overcooked 2, Nintendo Switch 2 edition is using the cameras and stuff like that, which like, okay, I guess. But there's DLC like Kirby Star Allies where they have the 60 FPS or the 120 FPS or whatever that they're at, like basically tech and resolution, you know, FPS and resolution boosting of their games, and also story. But I said Star Allies. Jesus Christ, no. What's the what's the one that came out like 2 years ago? It's getting DLC for it essentially, but the DLC is Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive. It's getting the bump in refresh rate, but it's also additional story, but you can't get that on the Switch 1. And I'm like, to me, I wonder if that story mode could have also been on the Switch 1. It's like that's where it's hard being a Nintendo fan sometimes, 'cause it's like the 2 steps forward, 8 steps back approach that they do sometimes. And I'm like, this is the most Nintendo thing that I've heard of. PS4 is just now starting to get phased out of development cycles and supported by companies. So Nintendo keeping both doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, it's like you can track this as far back as the Game Boy and Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance, and how they kept all of that still going within each other. Like there was Game Boy Color games still dropping when the Game Boy Advance was out. Game Boy Advance supported Game Boy and Game Boy Color games to an extent. There's like, there's games on there that weren't playable on the Game Boy Advance just because of the tech, I guess, or whatever. But for the most part, it played a majority of those older games. So they're always thinking of how to keep the families together for the most part. But this and the Switch being a handheld hybrid, it makes sense that this is nothing new when it comes to their handhelds. They're supporting their previous generations. When it finally came to the DS, they had to cut off the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, but that first line of DS games, DS consoles, and DS Lite supported the Game Boy Advance at the very least. So you were able to play DS games and the Game Boy Advance, and then when the 3DS came out, it phased out Game Boy Advance, but you were still able to play DS games on your 3DS. So like it still continued to like carry over on and on. So handheld wise, this is no surprise there. It's just a matter of the games that they're dropping will be on their newer console, but anybody else that, is third party is more than willing to have that option of like if it can support it on the Switch 1, they're going to do it and also have the Switch 2. And it's almost like low key when you think about it, you see the hey, we have this game key option, but if you get the Switch 1, it is full on the cartridge, and I see a lot of people on Twitter going for that Switch 1 cartridge, and if there's the option to do the upgrade for the Switch 2, then they're just gonna do it that way. Rido comes to mind, where it is on the Switch 1 and Switch 2. Switch 2 is a game key, but Switch 1 is full on the cartridge, and they're just doing the upgrade to the Switch 2, or just playing it flat out on the Switch 1 version of the game at that point, you know? um Tying Virtual Boy to a subscription to use is wild. I mean, that's NSO stuff. That's like a whole other thing on top of that, you know? That is another thing that we'll also get into, not for the subscription purpose, but for the virtual headset purpose that you need to get in order to use it. Unless you have a Labo headset, I am genuinely curious if my Labo is gonna work with Virtual Boy day one. I have it over there. I have my Switch one put in my Labo over there. So if that works, I'll let y'all know. But I am gonna get that the headset thing as well, because that is actually cheaper than buying an actual Virtual Boy in today's day and age. It runs for like a minimum 300 usually for like one that has all the components and stuff like that. So that saves me $200. But again, I am the anomaly to this situation here, and I clearly understand that. Janelle's mom redeeming that hydrate. Yo, the way I forgot to bring a water bottle, but I had my entire protein shake. Hold on one second. Ugh. Water. We're doing a lot of yapping right now, and I said I was going to try to keep it to an hour, and here we are at almost an hour and a half. What do you think Iwata and Reggie would have thought of these practices? I'm gonna hold that thought. Because we have a whole section dedicated to the Mario Galaxy stuff and the Virtual Boy in particular, because I do have some things that I feel like this is where Nintendo doesn't communicate proper, and the culture, I think, has to do with what they did, the reasoning they released the Virtual Boy the way they did, which I think might put some light into the situation. It doesn't correct it, and it doesn't make it right that they don't have this available in docked mode, which fucking kills me. But I get I think I get where they're coming from with it. And I think part of it has to do with the culture of Japan, and also the way the Virtual Boy was set up to begin with. So we'll stick with that in a little bit here. Joe, did you get your plane ticket, homie? My plane ticket for TwitchCon? Not yet. No, I've been eyeballing prices. They've been mostly the same the entire time that I've been looking for like the last month. Like every Tuesday, Wednesday, I've been looking. I'm like, okay, it hasn't changed at all. But the times have been looking a lot better now. So I think I'm finally gonna get my ticket in the next like week or two and get that situated. uh Super random, but are you interested in Phantom Blade Zero? I Do I know of that game? I'm not sure if I know of that game. Ghetto Nerd, what's going on, dog? How you doing? I'm gonna have to look that up. The name looks familiar when like you mentioning it, but I don't know if I actually have seen anything of it. Oh man, I was eating. No, you're good, dog. How dare you give yourself sustenance? My God. That'll be a fun test. I like how you're aware that of your slight bias, but also able to call out the BS and critique them in a nice way about it. Big respect. I tried because it's like, I understand that like I'm the I'm the person they're looking at when buying some of these damn things, but I'm also self-aware enough to be like, I get it. I'm the anomaly in our conversation here that I'm having with all of y'all. And then I know there's some Nintendos in here that are just gonna get it like frame one. Like I know some of the hardcore Nintendo homies are just like flat out gonna buy it. And I'm like, dude, like I pre-ordered those goddamn fucking Metroid amiibos off Amazon because I'm like, I'm not paying for this right now. I'm gonna wait until they ship. But but it's like that's my birthday present to me is all the Metroid Prime stuff. That's a me thing. I had in my head budgeted out for the analog 3D. I was gonna finally put the purchase in when they became available, but they haven't even shipped out their first ones. They delayed it again, and I think thank goodness they did because like damn. um all the art book that's coming out, the 3 amiibos, and the game. I'm like, you know what? That's my birthday present. The game comes out 3 days after my birthday. This is a me thing. When does Nintendo actually appreciate Metroid like outside of when they have a game release? Because they do it with like damn near every other franchise. Sick of my Mario shit. Like, no, I want me my Samus stuff, damn it. Like, come on now. And they got a Silex amiibo too. Come on. Like, yeah, no, you're not going to get that. Also, who came on in with the Subarino? Bumpy with the gifted Subarino to the homie Ghetto Nerd. Ghetto Nerd, enjoy your emotes. And most importantly, enjoy all of the damn bubbly out here. Let's fucking go. Eating during my stream during Hispanic Heritage Month. Oh my God. Yes. Also, wow. How the hell did I not lead in with that? Also, happy Hispanic Heritage Month out here. This is the beginning of it. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Sephiroth, what's going on? Dang, it be your own people. Listen, all right. I was recording an entire salsa event yesterday, okay? I have my phone footage to prove it. I was recording a whole fuck ton. I celebrate every day, goddamn it. I live it and breathe it. I'm Puerto Rican and Mexican, okay? I'm allowed both. Oh man. There he is, Omar. Get him. That's crazy. That's wild. Oh man. Phantom Blade Zero looks sick. We'll check out a trailer in a little bit. We'll end it with that. Someone remind me before we go, because I do want to stick the course with the show here. Also, for those who don't know, I'll be posting these up on YouTube as its own thing. I figured out how to make a podcast playlist on YouTube, so it'll be under that tab. I do have a YouTube playlist for it, but if you want to just click the podcast tab, it'll be in there. The first episode for the Nintendo Direct stuff from last week is going to go up tomorrow. And then I'm just gonna, like, going forward as we do these, they'll go up the following morning, for the most part. I was gonna play the raid video, but we've been on this conversation for a hot minute, so let's just jump right into it. Is everyone cool if I don't play the raid video, or should I stretch? Should I stretch? Let's stretch, because I have my list of topics over here, right? Yeah. Oh, speaking of Metroid, when we come back, we gotta stretch. There we go. Oh man, do what you need to do. All right, I'm gonna play this raid video. Y'all, please, once again, go show Leash some goddamn love out here. All right, that's the homie coming on in with a hot raid. I'm gonna finish this bowl of yogurt that I made an hour and a half ago. And then when we come back, we got On This Day, and then the main event, which is our Nintendo topics of two things for thought. Nothing, hopefully, too. I say that, and then we just got into a 45-minute conversation on this, a very good one at that as well. Like, I'm happy that, like, y'all, we can have this dialogue back and forth like this, because this is exactly how I want this show formatted. It's very informal, but, like, in terms of, like, what we're talking about, but also we can have it and not be yelling over each other, sort of thing too. And, like, we can both, like, y'all can also fact check the shit that I'm looking up, and then sometimes I can spew some knowledge to y'all, and we can just, like, nobody's getting mad at anybody. It's not like the comment section of, like, a Twitter feed, you know what I'm saying? I'm yelling right back at you, devils. Ah! Fight for your meat, and your meat will fight for you, y'all. Welcome back, everyone. Excuse me, Leash, thank you again for the raid. We're gonna get back into this madness over here, and oh my gosh. So yeah, we kind of got the point. Borderlands, looking cool, looking dope. I think we can move on from this, right? Friends with benefits now. IGN, what are y'all talking about over here? Let's see. Well, that's my duck station. We'll just keep that up because we got Ozzer Dreams later on. By the way, Remake or Break is back in full effect. Ozzer Dreams is going to be our first game that we dive back in, courtesy of Celestion IOF out here. And what I wanted to pull up was, well, not yet, actually. Well, actually, yeah, we can pull up this trailer right here while we talk about it, because On This Day, and I really should have Edge's theme playing for this one, right? I feel like if I'm going to name a segment On This Day, I should probably have Alter Bridges On This Day playing in the background, right? that just feels right. And On This Day is basically a celebration of games that came out prior. We have an ad break coming up in a moment here. But we're here celebrating games that have come out in its past. And 8 years ago today, because we were talking about Metroid, on the Nintendo 3DS was Samus Returns, the reimagining / remake to the early 90s Game Boy hit Return of Samus, the sequel to Metroid on the NES, a proper sequel on the Game Boy, being brought over by Mercury Steam, the folks who worked on the Castlevania reboot series, actually. They worked on this and then would eventually work on Dread. They did a lot of lore building on this game in particular to kind of better connect the rest of the games in the 2D era of Metroid games, although technically Prime does fall timeline wise between 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. because like three immediately takes place right after two. She like leaves the Galactic Federation with the baby Metroid, and then immediately all the BS happens, right? But this 3DS game we did a full playthrough of on stream back in the day. And gosh, this was what, 2017? This was an interesting time because the Switch had already come out. This was September, yeah. The Switch had already come out when this game dropped, and everybody was like, why isn't this on the Nintendo Switch? And I think this set the precedence for us getting Dread eventually. Now that I think about it a little bit more, but happy birthday, Samus Returns. You're a whole 8 years old. You can probably go to like second grade now and like draw crayons or something, right? Draw crayons, Joe. You can probably do math. Uh, better than I, at least. Now we're on to the main event, y'all. We are on to the main event. And in that, we got two topics that I want to talk about. We were already talking about Virtual Boy earlier, so let's start there, right? Virtual Boy, we learned draw crayons. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that one, Bumpy. I lost the train on that. Omar, what's going on? Virtual Boy, we learned last week during the direct, is going to be a part of the Nintendo Classics NSO lineup. So if you have, I imagine it's probably part of the expansion pass. I actually didn't check that one, so someone will have to check that on me while I talk about this real quick. But you can't you'll need the one of the subscriptions, right? Two, it's 14 games that are the 14 games that dropped on the Virtual Boy back in the day, but they're divvied over time. Which I don't know if they're going to launch with like several games. I would hope so. They did it with the GameCube where there was like 3 games. I would find it insulting if they did just drop one and then waited a month to drop the next and give you the drip feed of these 14 games. It's the most goofy Nintendo thing that I've ever seen, and I love and hate it at the same time. Virtual Boy was one of those things that like I've always like sought to look after but never bit the bullet on getting one, because I'm just like, damn, that's like 200-300 alone on a decently working console, and not even the games, right? But this is an opportunity to actually have that. And again, I have to preface this that like this is a very niche audience that this is for, and that's okay. Like, I think Nintendo knew going in how goofy they were doing this, but also there's a lot of interesting history behind this. We'll get to that in a moment, but my biggest complaint on Friday and Saturday when I like found out that like, oh crap, this isn't gonna be playable on dock mode. This is only, for this headset, or essentially what's a modified Labo virtual reality headset. And I'll show you guys. For anybody listening to this is poor description, but Nintendo Labo had a virtual reality headset that you can use. You actually had to build this out, and then you slide your Switch into it, and you can play games using the, the Nintendo Switch this way. Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart, I think, were the 2 games that I know of off the top of my head that this worked with? Question mark. I did not use it for either. So I could not tell you, but I will say, if you do still have this lying around, I'm curious as to whether or not this would work when Virtual Boy comes out, because it's the same thing. It's the cardboard version is literally this, just it has a flap so it can fit both the Switch 2 or the Switch 1, because you're going to be able to use Virtual Boy NSO on the Switch 1 as well. We learned that on Saturday. That cardboard thing goes for like $24.99, and then the headset itself, the actual headset, which would be cool if they actually are using the same pieces that were used back in the day. I don't know, but it's the Virtual Boy, and you're putting your Switch 2 or Switch 1 into that Virtual Boy. It takes you away from the dock, which is the first time that Nintendo's using the Switch to take you away from the dock itself and outside of its handheld component, and using an accessory to play games with in that regard. So you can only use one or two to do that. I don't know if like when you take it out in handheld, it's like waiting for a specific acknowledgement from either headset to acknowledge that you're using it, or like if or if you'll be able to just like cheat it somehow, or maybe they're just not saying that it's dock mode available. It's weird because like it's all red screen too, right? At the end of the day, and like the whole big thing was like the red will hurt your eyes or something like that because you know your eyes as a kid are not fully developed and whatnot. I There's like all these different things, right, that came into play with it. Playing your game into a viewmaster, literally level. I'm telling you, day one, I'm gonna test this out and see if this works. My cousin had an OG Virtual Boy. I played the tennis on there. It was a blast. Like, dude, getting all of that back, gonna be wild. Gonna be wild. Because I played that tennis on a demo, if I'm not mistaken. It had Mario Brothers. I want to say the Toys R Us demo growing up had a tennis demo and Mario Brothers demo, and I could be wrong about that. I'd have to look up what games are on the Virtual Boy, but I for some reason remember that, and I remembered the red screen, and I thought it was so cool but goofy at the same time, and like I wanted one, but I wasn't gonna get one. So thankfully that thing died in the midst of the way it did. Um, but there was that. The way I see it being 3D printed as soon as it releases. I mean, it all depends if there's like some sort of ping acknowledge. There's got to be something that it's trying to acknowledge on there. I don't know if that can be recreated or what. I'm sure the tech has got to be there, right, for it to like acknowledge the snap into said thing. I had Virtua Fighter back in the day, I believe. The way I broke it so fast. Wait, two different things. Virtua Boy, Virtua Fighter, two different things. We're about to get a 3D printer at work. It's gonna be so unhinged. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to make a headset, and I'm gonna need you to be our test dummy, devils. I need you to be our guinea pig. Nintendo will find anyone who copies their hardware. That's wild. You think that once that file document is out, oh my god, it's gonna be over as far as like being able to ping it. That's why I think they're gonna find a way to anti-piracy that. I would imagine. Man, Toys R Us, KB Toys, the good old days, literally that. Literally that. Kokobo, you're back just in time. We're talking about Virtual Boy. So there's that, right? There's you needing one of those two headsets, that Virtual Boy. We can pull it up too, just so you guys can see the actual Virtual Boy for those who maybe not even have ever seen it. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me, sorry. But yes, the cost of the Virtual Boy, $99. The actual like headset itself, and then there is the alternate version, which is this cardboard Labo version. It's literally, I'm telling you, I wasn't joking. It's a slightly bigger version of this just to fit the Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo Switch 2 doesn't fit in this, but a Switch 1 does. So I want to see if that works. But this is in fact the 24.99 option, and then the actual like Virtual Boy option with the stand and everything like that to be able to play the game. It just doesn't you know what's crazy, and I'm surprised they didn't do it. The Virtual Boy had a controller to it. It was the wackiest, most like uncomfortable looking. I don't know if at the time it was uncomfortable. I was too young to remember that now, but it does make me wonder if they were gonna originally do the controller too, because that would have been just like the complete jank experience of this, right? But it goes back. This is the long roundabout story way of asking the question. Well, The question being, why isn't it playable in docked mode? As far as we know, it seems like you do absolutely need this. It's written out here somewhere. You do need expansion plus. Okay, so that's what it is. You do need the expansion pack online. So you do need the more expensive um, Nintendo Online to use the Virtual Boy. Whew, that's they're asking for a lot here. Uh, but I think I can navigate some semblance of an answer. And it has to do with two things: its creator and also not ruining the original presentation of this invention. Gunpei Yokoi, he's saved Nintendo numerous amount of times. He's the person that is responsible for the D-pad that we see today on most Nintendo controllers, and that's their patent. That is he is the creator. He's the granddaddy of that, and he's worked on various things from arcade games to handheld consoles. He's the reason we have the Game Boy. He's the reason we say, he's the reason the line that Nintendo has like done in the past, like followed their motto is thinking sideways and using older parts to create new tech. Um, this was his second to last invention before fully separating from Nintendo. He'd worked with them for decades on decades on decades. He never wanted to move up. He's known as the guy that, like, if you invented something on the team, he wouldn't be the lead to take credit for that patent. He would say, "No, that patent should be under your name. I have nothing to do with this. All I am is the guy that says, hey, that like I'm the guy leading the team, but if you came up with something, you should have that patent." So he was very progressive in that mindset as well. Um, he came up with the Virtual Boy as a means of like this being the next wave of, you know, where kids would go as far as like gaming and tech. And you know, the dude no and behold is about like 20 years early to the party on this one for sure, because you'd see headsets come out, 20 25 years later after the fact, which is crazy that, like, although you couldn't see the lining on the wall with this one. It's just that the N64 coming out, the need for more power and whatnot, or the want for more power, because there's a power game as well, like bits and stuff like that. The 16 bits, the 64 bits. It was a bits game back in the day. This followed by the Game Boy Pocket were the two last things Gunpei Yokoi made before leaving Nintendo and helping design the Wonder Swan before he tragically passed away. And I think the reason why Nintendo is not allowing this dock mode is to preserve the way this game, this particular console was meant to be played, and two, out of respect for Gunpei Yokoi, to not alter the experience of the Virtual Boy. And that goes without saying that, like, yeah, it would make sense if this thing was docked, but I do think there is some level of respect and preservation behind the initial experience of this game to get it to work. Will I think a lot of people will go out and end up buying this game? This accessory for the Switch? Probably not, but it will sell. It's definitely headed towards a very, very niche market, and they got me on that one for sure. But you think the Power Glove is next, bro? If they somehow pull that off, that'd be crazy. It leads to like these other things of like changing outside experiences of the Nintendo Switch 2 now. You're implementing things that you can utilize this device more than just uh the dock itself. And I went and talked about this on Saturday when we were having this initial discussion, but like if this is an outside docked mode experience, what's to stop them from doing something where you can make handheld DS accessories for the Switch 2 to be able to play it in a portrait view mode and do DS games that way? Maybe 3DS. I don't know how the emulation and the tech behind that would work, but let's just say DS for that matter. Power Glove's a great example of that as well. If they had brought, is there any? How many games are there for the for the Power Glove? And also, like, I think Gyroscope also, the not Gyroscope. What the hell was the game called that had Rob the Robot that they like brought over to the States to try to get people to buy a Nintendo? Rob the Robot. Gyromite. There we go. Right? Gyromite was the game. I said Gyroscope. Shout out Gyromite. My stepsister had Rob the Robot. That was the first time I had ever seen it. Wholesome J, what's going on, dog? Not listen, if I gotta sell feet pics to get this thing, I will. I'll do it. You heard it here. Shout out Gyromite. That's a classic, bro. I was like, what? I don't know why my brain went to that, but like as soon as Ghetto Nerd said Power Glove, I thought of Gyromite and I thought of Rob the Robot. I'm like, damn, like it goes. Like you can really start messing around with like some of these other things and like implementing. You can almost treat this era of gaming as like, yes, we have this issue with game key cards and like physical media dying, but there are things Nintendo are trying to do where they're trying to preserve experiences of the past and bring them over, and I can appreciate it from that aspect. I don't think everyone is going to. I don't expect everyone or anyone to understand that, but I think I figured out why that experience is the way it is. I just wish they communicated that, and it just goes back to what we started off this whole entire stream with: is developers and the bigger companies, the publishers, well, not the publishers, but like the developers and like Nintendo themselves, just being a little bit more open with some of the stuff outside of the plain upfront thing of it being about anti-piracy. you know so it is cool to see something like this pop up, and I know it's not for everybody, but for me, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy that experience. And it's cool that like Gunpei Yokoi has like this was the one that like was the one failed thing that he had in his repertoire of everything that he's done. And Did You Know Gaming did an amazing video on Gunpei Yokoi's history, and they even went through like his book that they had somebody translate as well. I'm gonna link it in the chat too in a moment here. Did You Know Gaming, Gunpei Yokoi. But yeah, he's very much like a to himself reserved individual that just wanted to work on things and like invent shit. The man was a genius. Oh yeah. I have a Rob the Robot in storage. It'd be cool to use it with new tech. That would be crazy. The likelihood is hard, but like that would be crazy. You know what's crazy though? There's just like people out there making games for older consoles. I wouldn't be surprised if someone's made a game that utilizes Rob the Robot that's come out within like the last few years. Another funny thing about the virtual console, the virtual boy, is that I remember I want to say it was a Patreon that a group of like a whole team of people were dedicated to making Virtual Boy games. I don't know if that still exists. I will definitely look that up on an offline thing, and if I do, I'll update it in the Discord. But I remember that, and there was people just like working on making Virtual Boy cartridges, like games, for the Virtual Boy. I don't know if any of those ever came to fruition, But if they did, they may very well be out there. I don't know if they'll be. I don't know if they've ever made them available digitally for like, you know, you can purchase them elsewhere. But it is funny that they had like a whole setup to do these games and make them specifically for the Virtual Boy, and I think that was what had set me off to try to find a Virtual Boy, because like, oh wait, I can like try to like play these games on it. This is like years ago too. This is definitely pre-COVID for sure. I heard there's a soon to be Twitch partner streaming in here. That's crazy. That's you, Cass. That's you. Cass, what's going on? Cass, the Nova, rated PG-13. We were just having some so I just had my little soapbox piece on the Virtual Boy itself, but the last thing we'll end on, I wanted to end on a good note on that one, but we're back to the notes of because Mario 1+2 Galaxy is going for 70 bucks, and considering Galaxy 1 was was available already, and the only way to get Galaxy 2 physical is to get this bundle. It's the full 70, which I guess if when you think about it, like that 70 is the new $60 for this generation, right? So like that's what they're pricing that one as. But damn. Now if you want to just get it digitally, you can buy them separately. I think they're 40 a piece separately. And I think the reason people were going gun-ho on ordering this thing, because it has been getting pre-ordered, is because what happened with the All-Star Collection for the 35th anniversary for Mario was they temporarily made it available and people couldn't find it after like a few months. They delisted that off the eShop. They delisted Mario 99. Y'all remember Mario 99? You don't? Yeah, because it's gone. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, damn, they really went the full brunt on that one, and it's because it's Mario that they're gonna be able to get away with that one. Dude, seeing all this makes me so sad. I have an OG Virtual Boy as a kid. I have no idea where it went. Yo, nah, Cass, you gotta lock in. You gotta lock in. Or you know what? If you have a Labo, we're gonna see if this works day one. I think February is when it drops, right? Or at least the headsets. I'm telling you, if that don't work, busted. Oh my gosh, one day closer to Friday. Yo, that is a very positive way to look at it. I'm gonna have to start doing that, because the way I'm like, Monday, the only thing I look forward to on Mondays is this. I'm like, nah, we get to lock back in. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting, hey, what are we doing here, Nintendo? Could we not have done like the $50-$60? I would have taken 60. I'm still gonna get it, because at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know if this thing is gonna get delisted. I'm not gonna pre-order it. I'm just gonna wait, and if it's there when it's available, then it was meant to be, sort of thing. I'm very picky with my pre-orders. I mostly pre-order if I know a game is gonna go out of stock, or if it's a collector's edition. Those are the two things that I'm like, okay, those are like my prerequisites for pre-ordering for the most part. But before we get into the random wrestling video of the day, I would like to present y'all with a moment of whatever, and that's literally what it is. A little bit of whatever to put a smile on everybody's face, so that way, you know, sometimes when Nintendo takes 2 steps back, I'm here to bring it 2 steps forward with something light. So let's check this out. We got a little video over here. Hold on. Because I saw this earlier and it cracked me the hell up. I didn't see the rest of this. Oh my god. I didn't know No, what is happening? Oh my god. Nah. Damn. Why was this so long? Oh man, he's just standing there like, huh? What? That's just disrespectful. Skit. That had to be a skit or something. Oh my god. There's your moment of whatever right there. Y'all enjoy. There we go. See? 2 steps back, I bring you right back to square one. Oh my god. Holy crap, dude. All right. We're closing out TOS with being the elite because I like wrestling as well. And whenever I get a chance to show something that's wrestling but like not entirely not intrinsically tied to wrestling, we're going to watch it. So here we go. This is being the elite. For any of my AEW heads out here,
how humbling is this?
We're out here
Taking
watching the Young Bucks.
Trash.
They're broke as shit now. They're no longer the EVPs of AEW. Their Titantron entrance is ruined week to week.
I'm already out of breath.
They got no money.
This is a joke.
And that's how chatters feel when their message gets skipped. That's crazy. This has got to be. It has to be. Xaviera, what's going on? Oh my gosh. Did I say it right today?
Please,
I hope
Jesus,
I got
just
you.
help me
I
get
hope I
through
got
this.
you.
Putting my trash cans down.
Never mind. Let the
beside
musicians
curb.
play it out, bro. That
Please,
killed
Jesus,
me,
just
dude.
Let me get through
That
this,
killed me.
These trials and
The most entertaining AEW's been in a while, bro. This whole
almost
thing
there.
is killing me. Let's go. Why is that hill so... That, you know, it's like, if I still gotta throw out the trash and I got a home that big and a road that long, that trash is staying up there, dude. There's no shot.
What would I do with the money? Well, I'll tell you this much right now. I won't be here next week eating this crappy food. I will be door dashing Morton's Steakhouse. Shrimp, cocktails, and caviar.
And I'll be taking my money straight to the casino and doubling it on old-fashioned slot machines, fire links, dragon links, you name it.
All right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
And Bandito. Monkey flip. No. Holding on to the legs. And now 2, 3.
Hey, they got their 500,000. Ryan, what's going on, dude?
So we're here in Philadelphia. We won a lot of money.
God, this feels unnatural.
God, I'm really rusty at this. How do you vlog again? Hey, Brent, hey, Color, hey, no hard feelings about what you did on TV. You got your revenge. Now that you got it out of your system, grab your camera.
How much
grab
do you
your
want to
camera,
bet
research
they
some
blow all the money right now?
ad revenue.
How do you blow
I
500K?
said, like, I don't want to continue doing this until like I hear some sort of an apology out of you guys.
You know what? God, you're right. You know what? You are
Oh, no.
an apology. So Nick's gonna give you an apology right here, right now. Go ahead, give it to him, baby.
Super kick.
Sorry, you feel that way. Sorry, I feel that way. That's no, that's not good enough. I want a real
I hate that.
apology.
Jackson, what's going on?
Okay, ever since we lost the EVP thing, it's been rough, man.
Just one of them said on the slot machines, you know?
Okay. And looking back, in retrospect, I think we've...
Oh man, doing better today than last week? Let's fucking go. You love to hear it.
From the bottom of our hearts.
Brian coming back.
Sorry.
Thank you guys, man. That means so much to me that you guys would do that. I mean, after 20 years of friendship, 25 years actually. We met in 2000. We were so young. That was when we were in high school together. Yeah, I remember those times, backyarding, when Matt broke his leg. I remember when Nick got bit by a rattlesnake and I had to suck the venom out.
Hello?
You guys' first loves, the girls we met, and the guys. All the lost money.
Why is he talking so long?
All the broken hearts. I remember when you guys hired me and I cried like a little bitch. That was good times. All
Either
the
they're
years
still
on the
there
road
or
we
they're
spent
super
together,
kicking him right now.
traveling, me driving you and carrying your bags. But you
Welcome
know
back,
what?
everybody, from ad break.
I'm not empty anymore. I'm full. I'm full of hope. I'm full of dignity. Full of passion. And it's all thanks to you guys. Guys?
So dumb.
Right when I think I'm out, they pull me right back in.
Jesus Christ, this
Let's
Jack.
get to work.
I meant what
Oh
I said
man, that
earlier,
beard as a
right?
paid actor is nuts. That is a hell of a
I'm
beard.
gonna double it.
That's some
On
ZZ
old-fashioned
top ass beard.
slot machines, Dragon Links.
Are you sure about this?
Yes.
All right, we just finally got some money back. So,
We're doubling it. Double or nothing.
all right, let's just not screw this up.
Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Mm-mm.
You insist.
Hey, 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 dance when we bump it. Oh, break it down now. Break it down now. Dance when we bump it. Break it down now. Break it. Oh, sesame chicken. Y'all got me fucked up. I'm trying to be good here.
Is that enough?
I mean, it's orange chicken, but still, it's the same thing. It just doesn't have sesame seeds in it.
We can afford
So
it.
much for doubling that money. Right.
Bow down.
Right. And at Vegas, too? Yeah, no, they're bugging.
Hey, guy. Hey.
Oh, no, not earlier that day.
No. Tony gave Bird the night off, so they kind of need somebody to break the ring down.
Are you
Oh.
kidding? Ring crew? Ring crew now, huh?
Yeah. I need the ring. And one other thing, I came up here. There was a package delivered for you. If you guys can just grab it on your way out.
Lumpy, that's
It's
why.
probably just fan mail from the freaking marks.
Oh my god.
Can you get out of here?
I've been up since 3 and unloaded an entire truck today at 5 till 12:30. Yeah, nah, dog, you need bed, my guy. Come on now. It's getting lighter and lighter. Oh no. Bro, don't they got some taxes to play or something? There's gonna be some nonsense. Oh no, I don't know who it could be. Metroid X Fusion, an almost perfect remake. Okay, before we transition to gaming, hold on. Hold on.
20X7
In Metroid Fusion, series heroine Samus Aran is unexpectedly infected by a parasitic organism capable of perfectly mimicking its host. Much of the game thus revolves around the This is X Fusion,
I just
a
need to
ROM
know.
hack of Super Metroid that recreates and reinterprets the events of Metroid Fusion. Though the hack is heavily based on the events of Fusion, X Fusion is not a simple remake or port in Super Metroid's engine. Fusion's map has been completely redesigned from the ground up, featuring a mix of remade and brand new content that is just as applicable
Wow.
to X Fusion. Enemies can deal a surprising amount of damage, the level design often funnels you to your destination.
Wait.
Encounters here are scarier than the
Oh, I was about to say, I was
with
like, are
tons
there
of
different
great
cutscenes?
ideas. There are some aspects that I think hold the game back from being the easy recommendation it really deserves to be. Firstly, it's important to understand this is a hack of an existing game designed for players familiar
Damn,
with both
I can't know about another Metroid game right now. It's breaking my heart. I still. All right, before we switch on over to the games, we'll just sign off here for YouTube. If you enjoyed all the madness out here, give it a like, share with your friends. Let them know what we do here. We yap about video games after work and anything in the nerd culture that I'm feeling in the moment. So that was that one show, aka TOS After Work, and I'll see y'all next time. Take care. Love y'all. Remember, fight for your dreams, and your dreams will fight for you.